If you found this message, that means that, perhaps, you have glimpsed the fracture, the subtle tear in the fabric of what they call normal. You've felt the unsettling tremor when a thought, a concept, a question hangs in the air, too sharp, too profound for the comfortable murmur of everyday conversation. You've seen the flicker of unease in their eyes, the almost imperceptible withdrawal when your words cut too close to the bone of their carefully constructed reality. You've sensed the silent, unspoken accusation, "You are too much." Imagine waking up one day, not to the sun's gentle caress, but to the cold, hard realization that your very intellect, the instrument of your deepest explorations, is a weapon they fear. Not a weapon of malice, but of truth. A truth that illuminates the shadows they prefer to inhabit, the comforting illusions they cling to, like life rafts in a turbulent sea. Is it not a paradox, a cruel jest of fate, that the very faculty that should elevate us, that should bring us closer to understanding the universe and our place within it, becomes a source of isolation, a mark of the outcast? Why does the clarity of thought, the ruthless pursuit of truth, provoke such dread? Why is the mind that dares to question, to dissect, to expose the hidden mechanisms of our existence met not with admiration, but with a chilling, almost primal fear? Is it the fear of the unknown, the fear of the abyss that opens when the comfortable lies we tell ourselves are stripped away? Or is it something more insidious, a deeper, more primal terror? The fear of being exposed, of having the frailties of our own intellect, our own carefully curated ignorance, laid bare. Think of the child who asks, "Why?" incessantly, pushing beyond the shallow answers, demanding to know the very essence of things. They are often met with frustration, with a subtle yet unmistakable message: stop asking. You are disturbing the peace. Is it not the same impulse that drives society's reaction to the truly intelligent? The demand for conformity, the insistence on maintaining the status quo, the unspoken rule that certain questions are best left unasked, certain truths best left buried. And what of the solitude that inevitably accompanies this unsettling awareness? The feeling of walking among shadows, of speaking a language that others cannot comprehend, of bearing a weight that no one else can feel. Is this the price of insight, the burden of clarity? Are we doomed to wander, like spectral figures, through a world that fears the very light we carry? This is not a mere intellectual exercise. This is a visceral, existential question that cuts to the heart of what it means to be human, to be conscious, to be aware. It is a question that demands an answer, not a comfortable platitude, but a raw, unflinching confrontation with the hidden forces that shape our reality. Why does intelligence, the very thing that distinguishes us, become a source of fear and alienation? What hidden mechanisms are at play? What deep-seated anxieties drive this fear? And what are the unseen consequences of this societal aversion to the truly insightful? And most importantly, how do we break free from this suffocating cycle and reclaim the power of our own minds? The exploration of this question will plunge us into the depths of human psychology, the labyrinth of philosophical thought, and the very core of our societal structures. But first, we must understand the roots of this fear, the hidden problem that festers beneath the surface of our collective consciousness. The hidden problem, the insidious force that breeds this fear, lies in the fundamental nature of human consciousness, a nature that Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher of pessimism, understood with chilling clarity. He saw the world not as a harmonious symphony of reason, but as a chaotic, relentless struggle driven by the will. a blind, insatiable force that compels us to seek satisfaction, to avoid pain, and to cling to the illusion of control. And it is this very will, this primal drive for self-preservation, that recoils from the sharp, unyielding edge of true intelligence. Society, in its essence, is a collective agreement, a fragile pact built on shared illusions and comforting narratives. It's a delicate ecosystem where stability is prized above all else, where the smooth functioning of the machine takes precedence over the individual's pursuit of truth. The intelligent mind, with its relentless questioning and its refusal to accept easy answers, disrupts this delicate equilibrium. It exposes the cracks in the facade, the inconsistencies in the narrative, the uncomfortable truths that threaten to dismantle the carefully constructed illusion of order. Schopenhauer recognized that the average person lives in a state of what he called willing, a constant striving for desires that are never truly satisfied. They are driven by the immediate, the tangible, the superficial. They seek comfort in the familiar, security in the predictable. The intelligent mind, however, transcends this state of mere willing. It seeks not fleeting satisfaction, but lasting understanding. It delves into the abstract, the profound, the unsettling. It sees the world not as a collection of isolated objects, but as a complex web of interconnected forces, a vast, indifferent universe governed by the blind, relentless will. This difference in perception, this fundamental divergence in how the world is experienced, creates a chasm between the intelligent individual and the society they inhabit. The intelligent mind, in its pursuit of truth, inevitably exposes the shallowness of societal values, the emptiness of its pursuits, the fragility of its illusions. This exposure, however, is not met with gratitude or admiration, but with fear and resentment. It's a mirror held up to society's own inadequacies, a stark reminder of the limitations of its collective consciousness. The psychological roots of this fear lie in the human aversion to cognitive dissonance. When our beliefs are challenged, when our worldview is threatened, we experience a profound sense of discomfort. We instinctively seek to restore harmony, to eliminate the dissonance, to return to a state of cognitive equilibrium. And one of the easiest ways to achieve this is to discredit or dismiss the source of the dissonance, the intelligent mind that dares to challenge the status quo. Furthermore, the intelligent individual, in their pursuit of truth, often operates in a realm that is inaccessible to the average person. They speak a language that is not readily understood. They grapple with concepts that are beyond the grasp of the common mind. This creates a sense of alienation, a feeling of being excluded from a world that seems both foreign and threatening. It is a feeling that breeds suspicion, resentment, and ultimately, fear. The intelligent mind, in its relentless pursuit of understanding, often arrives at conclusions that are deeply unsettling. It exposes the inherent meaninglessness of existence, the futility of human endeavor, the inevitability of suffering. These truths, while undeniable, are deeply disturbing to those who cling to the illusion of purpose and meaning. They threaten to shatter the fragile foundations of their existence, to plunge them into the abyss of existential despair. This fear, this deep-seated anxiety, is not merely a personal reaction. It is a societal force, a powerful undercurrent that shapes our institutions, our culture, our very understanding of ourselves. It is a force that subtly yet relentlessly pushes the intelligent mind to the margins, to the fringes of society, to the lonely, isolated spaces where its insights are both feared and ignored. And it is this very isolation, this forced exile, that amplifies the sense of alienation, the feeling of being an outsider in a world that is fundamentally hostile to the pursuit of truth. This is the hidden problem, the primal fear of the unknown, the fear of the truth, and the fear of the one who dares to seek it. The unseen consequences of this societal fear are profound and far-reaching, silently shaping our personal and collective realities in ways we rarely acknowledge. This fear doesn't manifest as overt aggression or open hostility. It operates in the subtle nuances of social interaction, the unspoken rules of engagement, the insidious power of cultural conditioning. It seeps into our subconscious, shaping our perceptions, influencing our choices, and ultimately, dictating the course of our lives. Consider the subtle ways this fear manifests in everyday life: the sidelong glances, the awkward silences, the dismissive nods that greet a complex idea or a challenging question. The tendency to label the intelligent individual as eccentric, difficult, or out of touch. The subtle yet persistent pressure to conform, to dilute one's thoughts, to suppress one's insights in the name of social harmony. This is not overt oppression, but a subtle form of social control, a way of maintaining the status quo by subtly marginalizing those who threaten to disrupt it. This fear also operates on a deeper, more insidious level, through the power of cognitive biases and neurological conditioning. Our brains are wired to seek patterns, to simplify complexity, to avoid uncertainty. We are naturally drawn to the familiar, the predictable, the easily digestible. The intelligent mind, with its penchant for nuance, its embrace of ambiguity, its relentless pursuit of truth, disrupts this natural tendency. It forces us to confront the limitations of our own cognitive frameworks, to acknowledge the gaps in our understanding, to grapple with the uncomfortable realities that we instinctively seek to avoid. Cultural conditioning reinforces this fear, shaping our perceptions and influencing our behavior from a young age. We are taught to value conformity, to respect authority, to accept the established order. We are subtly discouraged from questioning, from challenging, from venturing beyond the boundaries of accepted thought. The intelligent mind, with its inherent skepticism and its relentless curiosity, is seen as a threat to this carefully constructed social order. This fear has profound consequences for the individual. The intelligent person, constantly confronted with subtle forms of social rejection, begins to internalize the message that their intellect is a liability, a burden, a source of isolation. They may begin to suppress their thoughts, to dilute their insights, to conform to the expectations of those around them. They may retreat into themselves, seeking solace in solitude, but at the cost of genuine connection and meaningful interaction. The consequences for society as a whole are equally devastating. The suppression of intelligent thought stifles innovation, hinders progress, and perpetuates ignorance. It creates a culture of mediocrity, where conformity is valued above creativity, where complacency is preferred to critical thinking. The result is a society that stagnates, that fails to address its most pressing challenges, that remains trapped in a cycle of self-imposed limitations. Furthermore, this fear creates a self-perpetuating cycle. The more intelligent individuals are marginalized, the more their insights are ignored, the more entrenched society becomes in its own ignorance and complacency. The result is a widening gap between those who seek truth and those who cling to illusion, a growing sense of alienation and distrust that threatens to erode the very foundations of our social fabric. This is not a conspiracy, but a subtle, insidious force that operates beneath the surface of our collective consciousness. It is a force that shapes our institutions, our culture, our very understanding of ourselves. It is a force that subtly, yet relentlessly, pushes the intelligent mind to the margins, to the fringes of society, to the lonely, isolated spaces where its insights are both feared and ignored. To break free from this insidious trap, we must first recognize its existence, acknowledge its power, and understand its mechanisms. We must confront the uncomfortable truth that our society, in its pursuit of comfort and stability, has created a system that actively discourages the very qualities that are essential for its own survival and progress. The urgency to escape this trap is not a matter of intellectual curiosity, but one of existential necessity. The rebellion begins with a radical shift in perspective, a conscious dismantling of the ingrained assumptions that have held us captive. It demands a rejection of the societal narrative that equates intelligence with eccentricity, that conflates insight with isolation. It requires us to reclaim the power of our minds, to embrace the discomfort of intellectual exploration, and to forge a new path, one that values truth above comfort, understanding above conformity. This rebellion is not about seeking validation or demanding acceptance. It is about recognizing that true intelligence is not a commodity to be traded for social approval. It is a force, a vital energy that must be nurtured, cultivated, and unleashed, regardless of the resistance it encounters. It's about understanding that the fear of the intelligent mind is not a reflection of our inadequacy, but a testament to our power, a confirmation that we are touching upon truths that others are afraid to confront. One crucial step is to cultivate a sense of intellectual autonomy, to learn to trust our own judgment, to develop the ability to discern truth from falsehood, to navigate the complex landscape of information without relying on external validation. This requires a rigorous commitment to critical thinking, a willingness to challenge assumptions, and a relentless pursuit of evidence-based understanding. Another essential element is to build a community of like-minded individuals, a sanctuary where intellectual curiosity is celebrated, where challenging ideas are welcomed, and where the pursuit of truth is a shared endeavor. This community is not about creating an echo chamber, but about fostering a space where diverse perspectives can collide, where intellectual sparring can sharpen our minds, and where the collective pursuit of understanding can transcend the limitations of individual thought. Historically, those who broke free from the constraints of societal fear often did so by embracing solitude, using it not as a prison, but as a crucible for intellectual growth. Think of Schopenhauer himself, retreating from the academic circles that rejected his radical ideas, finding solace in his own company, and forging a philosophy that challenged the very foundations of conventional thought. Think of Spinoza, ostracized from his community for his heretical views, yet continuing his relentless pursuit of truth, his mind a beacon in the darkness of societal ignorance. However, solitude need not be a permanent state. It can be a temporary refuge, a space for introspection and intellectual renewal, a necessary step on the path to creating a new form of engagement with the world. It is about building the inner strength to engage with society on our own terms, to share our insights without compromising our integrity, to challenge the status quo without succumbing to the pressure to conform. Practical steps that can be implemented today include: cultivate intellectual honesty. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself about your own biases and assumptions. Actively seek out information that challenges your worldview, and be willing to change your mind in the face of compelling evidence. Practice active listening. Engage in conversations with a genuine desire to understand, not to persuade. Listen to opposing viewpoints with an open mind and seek to identify the underlying assumptions that shape their perspectives. Embrace intellectual curiosity. Never stop asking questions. Never stop exploring new ideas. Never stop challenging the boundaries of your own understanding. Seek out knowledge from diverse sources and cultivate a lifelong love of learning. Find your tribe. Seek out individuals who share your passion for intellectual exploration. Engage in meaningful conversations, participate in stimulating debates, and build a network of support that can sustain your intellectual growth. Practice solitude. Intentionally. Schedule time for quiet reflection, for deep contemplation, for exploring your own thoughts and ideas without external distractions. Use this time to cultivate your inner strength and to develop a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. This rebellion is not about creating a new elite, a new class of intellectual overlords. It is about reclaiming the power of the mind for all, about creating a society where intellectual curiosity is celebrated, where critical thinking is valued, and where the pursuit of truth is a shared human endeavor. It is about building a world where intelligence is not feared, but embraced as the most powerful tool we have for navigating the complexities of our existence. The ultimate truth, the final, most powerful realization, lies in understanding that the fear of intelligence is not a reflection of the intelligent mind's inherent threat, but a testament to its liberating potential. It is a recognition that true insight, like a powerful current, can shatter the illusions that bind us, dissolve the chains of conformity, and illuminate the path to a more authentic, more meaningful existence. The fear, therefore, is not a condemnation, but a confirmation. It signals that the intelligent mind is touching upon the raw nerve of societal discomfort, exposing the hidden anxieties that lurk beneath the surface of our collective consciousness. It reveals the fragility of the carefully constructed narratives that we cling to for comfort, the comforting lies that shield us from the unsettling truths of our existence. This realization transforms the experience of isolation from a burden into a potent source of strength. It reframes the feeling of being an outsider, not as a sign of inadequacy, but as a marker of intellectual independence, a testament to the courage to think beyond the confines of societal expectations. The solitude that accompanies intellectual exploration becomes not a prison, but a sanctuary, a space for unfettered thought, for the cultivation of profound insights. The paradigm shift lies in recognizing that the pursuit of truth is not a solitary endeavor, but a collective imperative. It is about understanding that the liberation of the individual mind is intrinsically linked to the liberation of society as a whole. The insights gained in solitude must be shared, not to seek validation, but to ignite the spark of critical thinking in others, to challenge the status quo, and to pave the way for a more enlightened future. The journey is not about converting the masses, but about cultivating a critical mass of individuals who are willing to challenge the dominant narratives, to question the unquestioned, and to embrace the discomfort of intellectual exploration. It is about creating a ripple effect, a gradual transformation of consciousness that spreads through society like a liberating virus, dismantling the structures of ignorance and paving the way for a more authentic, more meaningful existence. This is not a utopian fantasy, but a pragmatic recognition of the power of ideas to shape reality. History is replete with examples of individuals who, armed with nothing but the power of their minds, have challenged the established order, shifted the course of civilization, and ignited revolutions of thought. From Socrates, who dared to question the foundations of Athenian society, to Galileo, who challenged the geocentric worldview, to Einstein, who redefined our understanding of the universe, the power of the individual mind to transform reality is undeniable. The final realization is that the fear of intelligence is ultimately a fear of freedom. It is a fear of the liberation that comes from seeing the world as it truly is, from understanding the mechanisms that shape our perceptions, and from reclaiming the power to think for ourselves. It is a fear of the responsibility that comes with knowledge, the burden of truth, and the courage to act in accordance with our deepest convictions. Therefore, embrace the fear. Do not shrink from the discomfort of intellectual exploration, but embrace it as a sign that you are on the right path. Do not seek validation from those who cling to illusion, but find solace in the company of those who share your passion for truth. Do not succumb to the pressure to conform, but cultivate the courage to think for yourself, to speak your truth, and to live in accordance with your deepest convictions. The world needs your intelligence, your insights, your courage. It needs the light that you carry, the truth that you seek, the freedom that you embody. Do not let the fear of others extinguish your flame. Ignite it, nurture it, and let it illuminate the path to a more enlightened future. Let your mind become a beacon, a guiding light in the darkness of ignorance, a testament to the transformative power of human intelligence. And when you feel the fear, remember that it is not a condemnation, but a confirmation. You are touching upon the very essence of truth, and in that truth, you will find your ultimate freedom.